Fallout, like many games out there, pretty much every AAA title out there, guys, has massive peaks and valleys throughout the course of its franchise's history, and Fallout is no exception to that. So what I want to talk about here in this segment of the show is, where is Fallout 5, the very highly anticipated continuation of Fallout 4, and obviously we've had some missteps along the way in the Fallout franchise, most notably probably Fallout 76, which some people did enjoy, thought it was a pretty good experience, but then of course not most, I would say the majority of the fan base are really looking for a true continuation of the franchise, not so much maybe a multiplayer experience, but a single player experience with a massive world and plenty of things that you can do, and just a true continuation of this franchise is what I think everyone is hoping for in the foreseeable future. Well, I want to talk about, where is Fallout 5 at this point, and when can we maybe expect this game in the future? So let's talk about it. In an article that was written by Heather Wald of Games Radar, 4 years on from the last single-player Fallout entry, we turn our attention to Fallout 5. After Fallout 4's release in 2015, many have been yearning for the next adventure in the Wastelands to blast its way onto our screens. Sure, we've had Fallout 76 to partially fill the void, but it doesn't quite cut the classic single-player experience. Realistically speaking, since is busy working on the long-awaited Elder Scrolls 6 and its new IP Starfield, we're likely not going to be seeing Fallout 5 for quite a while yet. Despite that, rumors continue to circulate about the next installment's existence, and given that Fallout 4 was a runaway success for the studio, it's surely only a matter of time before Fallout 5 is officially announced. And this is very true, guys. I mean, when we talk about the main additions to the franchise, 1 through 4, as in the Fallout games, they've all been very successful. Now, Fallout 76 was, I believe, was pretty successful as well, but it was certainly a step back. It wasn't, a direct continuation of like Fallout 4. So I think that what the fan base is really waiting for is that single player experience, because Fallout 76, guys, is a multiplayer experience, and that's great. I think it's good to have those things, but I think the way in which they went about it, we're not going to get into that in this video, but the way in which they went about it, guys, was just not very, a lot of us just don't agree with the direction they took 76. So now looking to Fallout 5 at this point, when can we maybe kind of expect this game to come out? Because like it said, Starfield as well as Elder Scrolls 6 are the next couple of games in line, so we might be waiting a number of years until Fallout 5 ends up coming out. In terms of a release date, it really is anyone's guess, but a little under a year ago, reports surfaced claiming that the studio was already thinking about Fallout 5. In an interview with GameStar about Fallout 76, the interviewer asked if the studio planned to bring multiplayer into any of their big upcoming feature titles such as Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6, to which Howard replied, "We want to keep them as single player. While it's not exactly out and out confirming Fallout 5 officially, it shows the studio has been paying some mind to the next Fallout." So, I agree with this. I think that they're definitely talking. They're bringing it up, right? They're kind of bringing up, Fallout 5. Even speaking the name Fallout 5 is basically saying, okay, this is on their mind. The karma system has been a mainstay feature in the Fallout series since Fallout 1, but it was one element that didn't make its way into Fallout 4. The karma system really makes you feel like your choices actually have an effect on the world around you. If you go about murdering everyone, you'll get yourself a nasty reputation. People will view and treat you differently as a result. It helps to add a deeper level of immersion to the RPG aspect of the series. It makes you think twice about the choices you run with. Without karma, it felt like every choice you made in Fallout 4 only served to change the way your companions view you, which felt a little hollow in comparison. I 100% agree with this. I would say bringing back the karma system, if you're going to have choices within the game, okay, so if there's going to be choices, which obviously I don't think that they're going to go away from that, but if they're going to have choices in Fallout 5, absolutely bringing back the karma system makes complete sense. Keep multiplayer out and bring co-op in. Fallout 76 does have some things going for it, but if it's taught us anything, it's that multiplayer isn't always the answer. The Fallout series has always been a strong single-player delivering, and with so many multiplayer games finding their way onto the market, it's hard not to hope Fallout stays true to its roots. Since Howard has already said it will be a single-player focused, we shouldn't have to worry too much, but it would be great to see co-op play introduced alongside single-player like a Dark Souls 3. So look, I disagree with this. Here's why. Fallout 76 is essentially only a multiplayer experience, okay? So I don't think that having Fallout 5 come out and say, okay, it's only single player, I don't think that that's the answer, in my opinion. Like, sure, I think people want the single-player experience, but I think people wouldn't mind having a multiplayer as well as co-op modes as well. It's a full package deal. If you're getting everything in it, multiplayer, co-op, and a single-player experience, that's going to keep you coming back to the franchise even after you beat the campaign a couple of times. So I disagree. I think putting multiplayer in there, even if it's similar to 76, as long as you have the single player story that's, immense and has a lot of stuff that you can do in it, as well as some co-op modes, I mean, come on, let's be real. If you could have everything in there, it's like having the best of all those worlds. Now, building settlements in Fallout 4 was a great new feature that finally gave all that junk you find lying around a purpose, but it'd be nice to this polished and refined so it's a little less clunky in places, although I'll admit that some of the best Fallout 4 settlements have somehow overcome the quirks. So, as far as the building system goes, I agree. I gotta say I agree with that overall. As far as the dialogue options, variety is the spice of life, as the saying goes, so we're all for more choices in the next Fallout. As fun as the sarcastic option could be, the choice of just 4 options to reply with just felt a little thin in Fallout 4, and while a similar amount of choice was offered in previous titles, it'd be good to see the next offer up an extra helping. So, I mean, I could go either way with this. I mean, I thought that having, around 4 different choices is pretty good. That's giving you 4 choices. I guess if you want to have more, I mean, why not? But I don't think that that's necessarily like a must, in my personal opinion. I think having the choices that you make, making them like more meaningful, even if it's only 4 different choices, having each one of those is like a meaningful choice. I think that's more important than just saying having like 6 to 10 choices. So I'm on the fence with that one. Now, as interesting as the Commonwealth was, we hope Fallout 5 will continue the series trend of introducing us to a new setting. Having a new setting keeps everything feeling fresh and exciting. It's always interesting to see a new location with Fallout's retro-futuristic flair. From Washington, D.C. in Fallout 3 to New Vegas in Fallout New Vegas, right up to Boston in Fallout 4, the thought of being able to explore what a new location has to offer makes the thought of the next Fallout all the more enticing. And I 100% agree with this. I think having somewhere different is going to be definitely something they're probably going to do because they've been doing that. But I also think that it's a must. I mean, you want to have things that are familiar in terms of like it feels like a Fallout game, but you want to have different environments that you're traveling around and even having like, a travel buddy like a dog or something that's in the game that kind of is there with you throughout every step of the way. I think would also be really awesome too. As far as where I would want this to be, I don't really know, guys. I just kind of want Bethesda to make to kind of go somewhere different. Doesn't really matter that much to me. Make it interesting enough, obviously, but it doesn't matter. As long as it's somewhere different and things feel different but still feel like Fallout, I'll be happy with that. But overall, guys, I think at this very point, Fallout 5 is a ways off. Between Starfield as well as The Elder Scrolls 6, we're talking, I mean, we haven't really seen further information on either of those 2 titles, so we're still waiting on release dates for those games, and then Fallout 5 would be coming out probably after that. I mean, I would be surprised if they're going to try to force it in between those 2 games or something. So let's just say this. Let's say that Elder Scrolls is the next game that's coming out, and let's say it comes out in 2021. Say a year after that, we start hearing more information or so about Starfield. Maybe it comes out later in, 2022. or it comes out in 2023. And then throughout the course of, I would say 2022, we'll probably hear something about Fallout 5. And then when we move into 2023 is probably when we could probably expect to either get all the information, or we're definitely going to be seeing Fallout 5. It could be sooner than that. It could be further off than that. But I think if you just think about what other projects they're working on currently, and they're continuously adding things to Fallout, 76, that being like the Wastelands expansion, and they're kind of adding things to that. So I would assume that Fallout 5 is probably in the early stages of the talks, right? They're talking about it. They're probably have initial concepts and things of that nature. But I don't think that they're like developing it yet, because I think they're still working on 76. They're probably just coming up with some initial concepts for Fallout 5. So I think it's a ways off, but I think that it is going to be on the way at some point in the foreseeable future, guys. So if you're a huge fan of Fallout, don't worry. I think that we will be seeing a Fallout 5 at some point or another. Just hopefully it doesn't get near the backlash that Fallout 76 did. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. When do you think we will expect to be able to play Fallout 5? And do you want to see a Fallout 5, or do you think they should stop the series altogether? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Fallout 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.